Welcome to another sit down with this week. I know we're still not through it, still not over it, but I'm sure everybody must be exhausted. You want anything serious today? You want to lighten it up? I thought we would lighten it up today. We're going to do a great movie. I'm going to tell you about it in a minute, but first I have a good announcement for all of you, especially those of you that are fans of Larry Lawton. We have agreed to do an interview in the next several days, and he puts it up when he wants to put it up. We're going to be doing it on his platform first since he reached out to me. I think that's the right thing to do. And then later on, we'll put it on our platform, but I think you're going to enjoy it. Like I said, I don't know Larry well, but been looking up on him, and he's got a great site. He's done some great things in the past year, so I think it's going to be a very interesting conversation. So coming up, Larry Lawton, look for it in the next couple of days. I'm sure he'll make an announcement, and I'll keep all my followers up to date on that. So today is, again, Mob Movie Monday, and we're going to be looking at a comedic film, and it's called My Blue Heaven. Yes, I'm lightening it up. We need some comedy. It's been a very serious week. A lot of people are hyperventilating over what happened. So let's go easy. It is a mob-related movie. It's one of the funniest movies ever. It was released back in 1990. Some interesting things about the movie. It was written by Nora Ephron. For those of you that don't know who she is, tremendous screenwriter. Unfortunately, she passed away a couple of years back. But the interesting thing, she was married to Nick Pileggi. Nick Pileggi, Goodfellas, Wise Guy, The Irishman, Nick Pileggi. So it's kind of funny that she writes a comedy about the mob, and Nick Pileggi, as we know, writes all these serious and brilliant movies, I would say. But you know, the fact that she was married to Nick is very interesting because so many things in this movie, okay, were so true to life, but highly exaggerated. I talked about, you know, art imitating life. Well, art imitated life in this movie, but in a very exaggerated, lighthearted way. I thought it was brilliant. I think it was one of the best movies. Steve Martin, who played in the lead, he was Vinny, Italian guy. I thought he was brilliant in this movie. This movie, I don't know if you ever saw him in The Jerk. I know, a mob guy talking about The Jerk, but he was so funny in that movie. And then Father of the Bride, he was terrific. Steve Martin is great. Rick Moranis, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, whole bunch of other movies. He was terrific. And then, of course, Joan Cusack. They all did a terrific job. So it was written great, directed great, authentic in a comedic way because the dialogue was cool. I'm going to get into a couple of scenes that I bet you'll find hilarious. So look it up. I think you can get it on Amazon Prime, probably on YouTube for free. And I don't know about Netflix, but look it up. If you haven't seen it, most of you have, or many of you have, you got to watch this movie. Watch it today. It'll make you laugh. You'll enjoy it. So, you know, let me give you the overview of it. Vinny, who is the Steve Martin character, he was a former Wise Guy. Made guy or not, we don't know, but we'll get to that. And he became an informant. Now he's in the witness protection program. He's going to be testifying against some guys in New York. So once he's in the program, what happens? They got to move him to another location because his life is in danger because he's testifying. You know the whole drill. And so they bring him out to San Diego, California. Rick Moranis is the FBI agent in charge of Vinny, Steve Martin. And they bring him out to San Diego. And in the first scene, they bring him into his new house, which is in the suburbs of San Diego. Now, people, I want to tell you this. I was never in the witness protection program. I have nothing to do with that because I didn't get to that. You know, I wasn't a cooperator in that regard. So, but my younger brother was. Some of you know that. You know, he testified against my dad. He was in the program. And I have some insight into the program because I knew a bunch of informants that both testified against me and had experiences in the program. And there's people on YouTube that talk about it now. So we have some insight into it. Something very interesting. I mentioned this in another video, but for those of you that are just tuning in, I believe the program was started in the early 60s or maybe a little bit later than that by a fellow by the name of Jerry Sher, who was part of the Justice Department. Why did they start the witness protection program? Because of my father, Sonny Franzese. That's right, Jerry Sher. This is documented. There was a case that he was investigating where somebody was hijacked. They beat him up. And he went to the law, but he was afraid to testify, allegedly because it was my father that ordered the hijacking. He was afraid he was going to get hurt, get killed, so he wouldn't do it. So Jerry Sher then turns around and says, hey, we need to do something to protect witnesses against the mob. And thus, without getting into the detail, they created the witness protection or the WITSEC program, whatever you want to call it. So that was way back, 60s or 70s, whatever the date was, I don't recall. But anyway, so that's it. So Vinny is in the witness protection program. He's now removed out to San Diego. He's awaiting until he has to go back to New York to testify against the guys back there. And the whole movie is about the relationship between him and the FBI agent, Rick Moranis. There is a prosecutor, a local DA that gets involved. That's Joan Cusack, because Vinny can't stay out of trouble when he's out there. And you know, when I say art imitating life, the dialogue was so cool in this movie in a comedic way. He played the part well, Vinny. You know, he had the hair slicked back, he wore the suits, his mannerisms, everything was just great. I mean, I laughed throughout the whole movie, I'll be honest. It was just great in that regard. Rick Moranis as the, you know, kind of a nerdy FBI agent, he did a great job in it. And it was funny, the relationship between the two, how it developed. But anyway, in the opening scene, something that was really funny to me, Rick Moranis brings Vinny into the house, and they're getting settled, and you can see right away, he's so out of touch. You know, he's a city boy, he's grown up in Brooklyn, and like, man, where am I? Out in the middle of nowhere. And Rick Moranis needs